Welcome back to the CASA Course. I am Nick Casanova, your teacher, your realtor. Today we are going to talk about the 22AD. What is it? What does it mean? So the 22AD stands for additional down payment. It is an addenda that you can use. It is a tool that you can use when submitting your offer. I talked about it a little bit ago in my past videos, but it's still relevant today. And I want to kind of give you the perspective of why it's important, not only for the buyer's side, but also as a seller. Why is it important for a seller? So grab your pens, grab your papers. Class is in session. Let's go. All right, so let's get right into it. The 22AD, the additional down payment. Basically what this means, this is connected to the appraisal. You know, the appraisal everyone's always so worried about. You know, is my home really going to be worth what I'm paying for it? And so what happens is, say you have a home on the market for $500,000. You're willing to, you submit an offer, that offer gets accepted. You submit at $550,000. So now for the appraisal the appraisal needs to come in and at $550,000, right? It needs to come in what we say is at value. If the bank appraises it and says, no, this is actually worth $530,000. Well, now there's a $20,000 gap that someone has to pay for. And there's options. The buyer, seller can pay for. There's options, but the main point is there's a difference that someone has to take care of. And what the 22AD, what that tool accomplishes is it says from the buyer, buyer will pay up to X amount in case of a low appraisal. So what you're seeing right now in this market is obviously you're seeing homes getting priced higher, or you're seeing the multiple offer scenarios, and that $500,000 house has 5 offers, and you know, and it's getting priced super high over list price, right? It's getting offered super. And so a buyer's going to say, not only am I willing to pay here's my offer of $550,000, I'm also willing to back it up with a $25,000 22AD additional down, saying if this house appraises within or under $25,000, I will pay within that number. So if it pays, so at $550 and it appraises for $525,000, well, now that buyer is on the hook to bring $25,000 cash to close, an additional down payment, right? So now, but if it appraises for $30,000 and I'm only willing to pay $25,000, you're still only on the hook for the $25,000, and now you have to negotiate the difference of $5,000. But the power behind the 22AD is telling the seller, hey, not only am I willing to step up in price and submit a solid, strong offer, I'm gonna back it up with this additional down. Now, don't get me wrong, not everyone can play that card. Like it's a lot of money, whether it's an extra $5,000, whether an extra $100,000. You know, you're seeing a lot of, you're seeing this tool be utilized almost in every transaction. And so when you play this card, when you submit your offer and you're saying, I am willing to pay X amount up to X amount within the 22AD, I always tell my clients, assume it is going to come in lower, and you're going to have to max out whatever number you choose. So on that $550,000 house that you just submitted on, and you are willing to pay $25,000 an additional down, I tell my clients, budget as if it's coming in that low. Because you know it's you never want it to come in lower and be surprised, be like, well, I just assumed it was gonna, you know, not be that low. Just assume if you're gonna offer it, budget that number in, so that at closing, the worst case is you have to pay the extra $25K and you get the home and you're in, right? The best news is when the appraisal happens and it comes in at value. It comes in at the $550,000. You don't have to pay anything extra, but budget for worst case scenario. And like I said, that the reason why that tool is super attractive to a seller, because it's incentivized, or it shows the seller, the buyer's commitment to this deal. They're doing what they can to see this through, right? And when homes are getting priced so much over the list price, seller needs some sense of assurance that this deal is going to close. So, so on the buyer side, you can see why that's a useful tool, if feasible for the buyer, to be able to throw in there to strengthen your offer, right? Now, as a seller, why is it important for a seller? In this market, when you're getting multiple offers and you're 5, 10, 15% over list price, well, if you're 15% over list price, like, you have to back that up with something, because at the end of the day, this house has to appraise. You can list a house for $500,000 and then submit an $800,000 offer and be like, oh, cool, this is a lot of money. That's fake money at that point, because it won't appraise for that. The bank won't appraise it for that. So when you throw a number that is a substantial over list price, sellers, if you can get that buyer to provide some sort of cushion, some sort of assurance that this deal's gonna close, because we're gonna take care of the gap there in appraisal, maybe not the full thing, but as much as you can, because again, it doesn't matter what market you're in. A seller needs to pick an offer that has the highest probability of closing while offering a competitive purchase price. So when you see an offer of so there's a $500,000 house on the market, one buyer A submits $575,000 offer flat, no 22 AD. Next buyer offers $560,000 with a $30,000 22 AD additional down. So, one will say, well, 575 is a better number. You get to net more. Yes. However, the 560 is going to, again, it's just assurance. They're providing that 30K in case of low appraisal. They're showing their commitment, their strength, and in case maybe you're worried about value, well, it's a no-brainer. Take less money to ensure you get to the finish line. And so that's the 22 AD. It's like I said, not everyone can play that card. However, there are ways, with 5%, 10%. Say you're planning on going 10% down, okay? And you're trying to compete. You're trying to make sure your offer stands with everyone else, right? Well, maybe do 5%. Maybe do 5% and then use some for the 22 AD. And then if your offer gets accepted and the home appraises at the price that you're purchasing it, then you can put 10% down now. So there's ways you can do it, but I get it. Any sort of extra money, period. It's not easy. But I just want you to know, buyers and sellers, what tools are out there that you're just going to see in every deal. That's what it is. The 22 AD additional down payment. There you have it, folks. The 22 AD, the additional down payment. Yeah, I hope that stuff was that information was good. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to reach out. You can watch this video as well as the rest of my lessons at nickcasanova.com. You can also listen to this episode and other episodes on Spotify, I don't think iTunes is a thing anymore, but Anchor, and if you just look up the CASA Course, you can plug in, listen to it on the drive home, whatever. But it's available. Again, I just want to provide tools and resources for you so that when you jump into this market, you're a little bit more educated than maybe you would have without plugging in. So the CASA Course, like, subscribe, go to nickcasanova.com. Yeah, class is dismissed, guys. Cheers.